I'm 78 years old, and I didn't know happiness was something you had to practice. I thought it would just arrive, like weather, like mail, like something life eventually handed you if you worked hard enough and waited long enough. I'm saying that out loud now because at this age, you stop pretending. There isn't time left for pretending. Most of my life, I treated happiness like a reward for later. You know, the way people say, once things calm down, or once I get through this, or after the busy season, or when I retire. I built an entire life on after. Now I'm almost at the end of it, and I realize after never actually came. I wake up slower these days, not out of peace or comfort, but because my joints won't let me rush, even if I wanted to. The mornings are quiet, too quiet. I make coffee in a kitchen that used to feed a family. Now it's just one cup, one plate, one chair pulled out. You don't notice the empty at first. It builds like dust, quiet and slow and familiar, until suddenly you realize everything is covered in it. People think sadness in old age comes from tragedy, but for me, the sadness came from routine, from the way ordinary days stacked on top of each other, until I looked back and found that I'd spent decades waiting to feel alive. I wasn't miserable. That's the thing. I was fine. Functioning, responsible, productive. People even said I looked like I had it together. But fine isn't living. Fine is what you settle into when you forget what joy feels like. Back in my 20s, I thought happiness would come from stability. In my 30s, I thought it would come from achievement. In my 40s, I thought it would come once the bills were paid and the house was ours. In my 50s, I thought it would come after retirement. In my 60s, I thought it would just happen naturally, like your body finally giving in. At 78, I finally understand. Happiness is a skill, and I never learned it. I never practiced. When I was younger, I treated life like something to get through. Work first, enjoy later. Hold your breath now, inhale someday. I kept thinking I was being smart, disciplined, adult. I didn't know joy was a muscle that weakens when you stop using it. I used to come home tired, drop my bag by the door, sit in the same chair, eat the same dinner, watch the same news. I didn't call friends back because I was just too drained today. I didn't say yes to invitations because I had a lot going on. I didn't hug long enough, didn't laugh loud enough, didn't linger in good moments because there was always something I needed to get done. People drifted, not because anything went wrong, but because nothing went right. I let closeness expire like bread I forgot to open. The first real cost showed up in small ways. A birthday I missed, a dinner I postponed, a conversation I promised we'd finish later. Later never came. And then one day the phone rang, and it was about someone I never got around to loving properly. Not because I didn't care. God, I cared. But I didn't show it. I thought caring inside my head was the same as caring in the world. It's not. You think people will understand. You think they'll just know. But they don't. None of us are mind readers. Love has to be visible to exist. The turning point for me wasn't dramatic. There was no movie moment, no breakdown. It was a Tuesday morning in a doctor's office. He was kind when he said it, something about my heart, something about caution and lifestyle and taking it seriously. I remember nodding. I remember hearing the words. But what I really felt was the weight of all the time I didn't use. I walked out into the parking lot, sat in my car, and didn't start it. I just stared at the steering wheel and thought, I can't start over, and I can't go back. So what now? There was no answer. I went home, made coffee, sat in that same chair. Only it felt different now, like it finally realized I was never leaving it. That was when I understood. Happiness wasn't waiting for me. It was waiting on me. If you're expecting some transformation here, I'm sorry. I didn't suddenly become wise or peaceful. I didn't take up painting or move to the coast or start dancing barefoot in the yard like some movie character. I just started trying. Small things, awkwardly. I tried to enjoy my coffee instead of drinking it while already planning the rest of the day. I tried to listen when someone spoke instead of waiting for my turn. I tried to say yes more. I tried to let myself be seen, even if it felt embarrassing. Sometimes I felt foolish. Sometimes I felt like I was learning something too late to use it. Sometimes I felt like joy was an instrument I picked up at 78, hands shaking, while everyone else had been practicing since childhood. But even then, there were moments, tiny ones, soft ones, a neighbor's laugh drifting over the fence, a sunbeam across the kitchen table, a memory that hurt less than it used to, a phone call I almost didn't make, but did. Those moments didn't fix the past. They won't fix the future. But they make the present less heavy, and maybe that's enough. What I regret most isn't what I did. It's what I didn't practice. I didn't practice joy, so I didn't notice it. I didn't practice gratitude, so everything felt like a burden. I didn't practice connection, so relationships became maintenance instead of nourishment. I didn't practice love, so I assumed feeling it was enough. I thought the heart was automatic. I know now it's manual. If you're younger than me, I'm not telling you what to do. I don't have that right. I don't know your life, your pain, your obstacles. I'm just saying what I wish I had realized sooner. Happiness doesn't arrive, it's built. Piece by piece, choice by choice. Not in grand moments, in small ones you can actually touch. 5 minutes of presence, a conversation you don't rush, a kindness no one asked for, a laugh you let happen even if it feels silly, a thank you said like you mean it, a hand you reach for instead of expecting them to reach first. Those are muscles. They atrophy when ignored. They strengthen when used. Now I'm here, 78. I don't have decades. I don't even know if I have years. What I have are mornings, maybe afternoons, a handful of evenings if I'm lucky. So I'm practicing, not aiming for joy, just practicing it. Like brushing my teeth, like taking medicine, like something ordinary and necessary. Some days I fail, some days I forget. Some days I still feel like a stranger in my own life, but other days I feel something warm, something light, something I used to call someday, and it doesn't scare me anymore. If any of this meant something to you, I'm glad. If it didn't, that's all right too. maybe it's not your time to hear it yet. I hope when it is, you'll come back to it. I don't need to be understood. I just needed to finally say it. Happiness is a skill I learned too late, but not never. And for now, that's enough.